Grand Rising family, is Shay Seeking, and this is not your mama's Bible study because we know that his story lied. And I'm back with another video today. We're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about, or I'm just introducing something that I feel like I see. I think I'm going to go ahead and order like a couple of large maps, maybe some old ones and newer ones of the Americas, and then some of the other continent, and just start like, or maybe print out a couple of them and start playing with it a little bit to see what I come up with when it comes to the, because I would really like to get a grid down. I know there's a lot of maps out there that people are redoing that have something to do with the history of the Americas, having something to do with the Book of Mormons, which is really an extended a version of a Bible in my eyes. And then what was I going to say? Oh, and then everybody else that's doing these things on the biblical, from the biblical aspect, and doing maps with theorizing the fact that the Bible may be speaking of the Americas, not overseas where you think that it is speaking of. And that's kind of like what this channel and this platform is for. We have an alternative view on the Bible, such as the fact that we may be, when we're dealing, we'll just put it as simple as this: when we're dealing with the first days in Genesis 1, we are actually talking about, well, the Bible already says that it's talking about a period of time. What I'm just saying on this channel is that, say for instance, could the fifth day be representing the 1500s, the sixth day the 1600s, the seventh day the 1700s, so that the text wouldn't be as old as you think it is. And we just keep in mind that the first Bible that was brought to the Americas was the Algonquin Bible, and that was written in an Indian language. And then we'll also have to go ahead and realize the fact that regular everyday people could not even obtain a Bible until the late 1800s, possibly early 1900s. So again, we here we're lifting the veil, and we understand that we've been lied to on a massive scale. We understand that there were so-called Aboriginal, so-called Black people here in America prior to any form of a slave trade, and that there was a slave trade, an internal slave trade that happened for a longer amount of time, and it affected way more people than the 250,000 in total of the African slaves that were brought to North America during the entire slave trade, as opposed to the millions you were taught in school. So again, could this have something to do with those people and the fact that we would like to erase their history? Could there have been other people here too? Of course they could have, but I am a so-called American Black or Negro, or I've come from a line of. So this is what my main focus is for now. And yes, I believe there could have been other people here, because I'm not trying to go all the way back to the beginning. I'll take you to the beginning of Genesis, because I feel like that is talking about the beginning of the colonization of the Americas. That is their creation story of them imposing on a already primitive people that were in a land. And this is why God told them to replenish the earth, because he was not fond of what was already there. And that would have been the Aboriginal, or the earliest members of a place prior to colonization and amalgamation and all of these other things that happen. So again, we're talking about the Jordan River today. I don't know exactly how I got here. I actually researching something else, but I just thought I'd give you something quick today, because I've been kind of sporadic with the videos. And I was just saying that this is another resemblance which makes me really lean more heavily on the theory that we have here. So what we're looking at here is some information about the Jordan River. I believe I was reading in the Bible, and I came across something about the Jordan River, and it was just leaning on my heart to kind of really go around this and see what we really may be talking about and where we may be talking about. So in that instance, I just went ahead and Googled the Jordan River. And like I told you guys before, whenever, you're looking at some of this stuff in the biblical aspect, even in your Bible, they always want to give you a close up, cropped in image. They never really like to have the first image that you see be something of the full effect. I don't know why. Most of the time, when you're going to Google something like this, you're going to get just that little portion that they show. They don't like to give you a preview of what the river might look like on the entire spectrum. So we have this little piece here that they've given us here to show us what the river is all about. And then I was looking at the fact that it says the Jordan River or river, Jordan. Okay, so either way. And I think that, okay, we'll see later, is a 251-kilometer long river in the Middle East that flows roughly north and to south through the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea. Now, you guys know that I've made reference to the Salton Sea. I don't think I was saying that it was the Dead Sea. I could have possibly been looking at it as that way. But again, I don't know if it was another term that I was using, but again, could there be more? Okay. The thing that catches me is the length of the river, and that it says the Middle East. Now, when we look at the map of the Americas, okay, let's see. I'll just look up, excuse me, Red Indian. Maybe I'll go back to that. But okay, when we look at, so now see, when we look at the Mississippi, is on the other hand, they'll give you kind of like a full map so we can kind of see what it's actually doing, or the length of it. But I guess there is an upper Mississippi, and then which goes through Cairo. Hence ancient ancient Egypt in America, the theory. And it goes through a bunch of other stuff up here. I have a map here that I had it on my iPad. I can't get it over to the screen, so I'll just kind of give you a description. There's a whole bunch of dams or like blockages, like all through here, like a whole bunch of them on one of these maps. And then it kind of reminded me of in the scripture where it says that the Jordan overflows during the harvest time or something of that sort, or around that. And so I just kind of wanted to know more about, let's see if I can go back. Okay, so you see where the Mississippi is lying. Before I get off track, we would like to see, and then also there was some stuff about the Jordan when they were wandering in the desert for that long time, how close the desert is to this area. And if I was to look at North America and I look at where the Mississippi would lie, I would call that the Middle East, because it's more east, but it's kind of in the middle, kind of like we call it the Midwest, because this is where I reside in the Central Time Zone. Okay, so again, that is kind of funny how they're saying the Middle East, but if you look at the Americas and we want to theorize on the fact that ancient Egypt might have been here along this river somehow or somewhere, then again, I would say that this would be east. Okay, in the middle, but east. And it's funny how here's that desert, and how this was, I think they said it used to be called the Indian River, but at a point in time it is called the Upper Mississippi, but it's still connected to the Mississippi. So it says, let's go back to where we were with the Jordan. Okay, so it says Jordan and the Golan Heights border, the river to the east. Okay. So Galilee and on to the Dead Sea, Jordan and the Golan Heights bordered the river to the east, while the West Bank and Israel lie to the west. Okay. So that would be something good to take in reference, because we're kind of doing like a cross examination of some sorts. I just want to kind of see where Jordan, Louisiana would be. I think it would be somewhere in here. But anyhow, that's another video that I was working on. So we see that. We see 251 kilometers long. So in my eyes, when I was reading that scripture and I was thinking and just thinking, I do kind of reference the Nile with the Mississippi a lot of times, because there's lots of similarities. But then again, things change over time. Nothing is still the same as to what it was when it was found. So again, I just wanted to go ahead and look up what 251 kilometers would be in miles, because I know that we don't normally use kilometers here in the Americas, but other people use things just like they use millimeters and centimeters in lots of other places, but here we tend to use inches. So once I did that, it came up with 155 miles. So then I went ahead and put river in America, which would be 155 miles, and that's when I got the let's see, that the upper Mississippi is 155 miles. Okay, so then I said, hey, maybe we're on to something. A lot of, there's Cairo in Illinois. It's just so many different things that kind of work in this way of leading to these answers. Okay, so I just thought it was pretty neat that the upper Mississippi River, sometimes it floods during what one would may call, or the Indians would have called, harvest season, and sometimes they would have to move around, and then to find out that it's exactly the same length as the Jordan. So what are we really talking about here? Again, are we talking duality when we're talking about this thing with the scripture? Like the place that they want us to think is Israel, compared to where Israel may really lie here in the Americas? Because even if you want to go back to the biblical text, that Israel over there is newer. Okay. It would have, where was it when it was in the Bible, if that was only in 1946 or something, where they established this whole Jerusalem thing? So, that's just something that I question a lot. So let's see. So now we see that the upper Mississippi, if you want to detach that, okay, now I know they're saying it's one now, but is that what the people that were originally here considered it as? Because at first when I was reading, I was like, for some reason I'm looking at the Ohio River. But then I had to go ahead and look, and when I put in those measurements, I was just shocked to see that that is where, we would probably be. And then, let's see. I read a little bit about, this is one of the scriptures here. Let's see if I can find one. And when those who carried the ark came into the Jordan, and the feet of the priests carrying the ark were dipped in the edge of the water. It says, for the Jordan overflows all its banks all the days of the harvest. Okay. There was a couple of other ones, but we're just going to go ahead and look at some of the cross references, and then we'll look at this. So when the people broke camp, to cross the Jordan, the priests carried the Ark of the Covenant ahead of them. Now, the Jordan overflows its banks throughout the harvest season, but as soon as the priests carrying the Ark reached the Jordan and their feet touched the edge of the water, the flowing water stood still. It backed up as far upstream as Adam, a city in the area of Zethron, while the water flowing toward the sea of the Arabah, or the Salt Sea. Okay, well, the Dead Sea or the Salt Sea. Still, um, you know, if that river or Mississippi, we know, feeds off into other places. Now, what are we talking about here? Because then when does the Mississippi go in the direction? Let's see if we can see anything. Okay, let's see. See, this is kind of like that map that I had that I wanted to show you guys, but it's really not. And it's so funny how we were just looking at that. I was Googling and it was saying the Mississippi Red Indian. And then here is where I was telling you guys that I think it's Jordan, Louisiana, maybe, if I'm not mistaken, would be. And it said somewhere around where Jordan is. It didn't say the Jordan River, it just said Jordan. So if the Jordan is here, now this looks like a separate, the way they have it on the map. If I had to pick any river here that looks like it could be separate from this, not branching off of it, it would be this one. But is that, how it is? I don't know. Or is that how they want us to perceive it? Okay. So anyway, and I think there was something in the scripture about red. No, it was in text. Red, almost black. The waters were red, almost black. But again, when we're talking about waters, I like to go back to the point to think and just debate with myself, or argue with myself about the fact if we could be possibly talking about people still. Because just because I say that the waters means foreigners, again, or immigrants, aliens, immigrants, or whoever, coming into the area that was not originally from here, there were some dark view people that came in through there too. And if they came through here, this reminds me something, let's see, of this area. This is why I want to do some form of a map. I know I've doubted myself in thinking that I could do this, but I do like maps. I've researched a lot of them, and maybe, I should just go ahead and stop with that, like I've been doing with lots of other things, and go ahead and try it. So I don't know, but spiritually or something, my mind's eye is leading me to Moab. And you know what? I'm gonna have to get what do you call that thing? A mouse pad. I've never needed one before, but with these stupid new mouses that I got, neither one will work properly because nothing I'm using is actually working. Okay, so maybe this will. Okay, so again, I know this just goes up to here. This one is seeming to only go up to this point. But again, was there ever some kind of river that led through to where I would say the Salton Sea in California would be? Okay. That's just something that I was just wondering. Because again, things do change over time. And then also, I guess we can look at gives its water a spiritual significance that sets it aside from other rivers. Again, now, so if the Jordan runs through the land and history of the Bible, giving the waters a spiritual significance that sets it aside from other rivers. Now, what are we talking about? Because we know that there were darker view people like the Apache and things like this. And we're also talking about the great mixture that we do have in New Orleans, or in that whole midst of this garden, which I would like to say was Louisiana before the purchase. The mixture of people that was going through there, um, and some of those people were darker French people and darker view Irish. There was just a great mixture of people. So let's see. So the Jordan River runs through the land and history of the Bible, giving its waters a spiritual significance that sets it aside from other rivers. The Jordan is significant for Jews because of the tribes of Israel under Joshua crossed over the river on dry ground to enter the promised land. Now, again, this is what I'm saying about spiritual energy flowing, because I went to bed listening to Joshua, and then I woke up in the middle of the night and I noticed that things had already went through, and then I went ahead and noticed that we were in John. In both of those books, once I woke up, I said, "Oh, I have to go back into them because I heard so many things." I just want to go back into them. But again, this is how I overwhelm myself, and I can't get information out to you guys like I like to because I'm playing too much and I'm trying to prioritize. So maybe we'll go back into those, but definitely I was feeling the vibe of what we're talking about here in those two texts. So again, we'll maybe I'll just stick on this for the next couple of days until I feel like it's fulfilled. Okay. It is significant for Christians because John the Baptist baptized Jesus in the waters of the Jordan. And the whole thing about, oh, well, I thought Jesus was supposed to be coming from here, but are you sure this is him? And, just a lot of skeptical things were going on within that text, I believe. It might have been John, maybe, about the whole thing about Jesus coming from Galilee or whatnot. So it said the prophets Elijah and and Elisha, and it's so funny, man, because Elias and this Elisha or whatnot are two names that are they're spelled maybe a little bit differently, but from the John Adams bloodline. And then the fact that we're talking about John. But again, like I said, I'm not saying anything about that this is these people, but it's just so funny. Okay. The prophets also crossed the river. Oh, and the fact that we're talking about, because the tribes of Israel, okay. And again, I don't know, maybe somebody can fill me in on the fact that, do the people over in Israel now or in Jerusalem or anything that's supposed to be of the um that land, um what was I gonna say? um Slow down. Okay. Israel under crossed the river. Oh, tribes, do they consider themselves to be tribes again? And then, I know there's a lot of cross reference to, um and I know that all of these religions are under the same spectrum. Okay. So again, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm just wondering how so many people over there ended up being Muslims, um, when, but we're supposed to believe that this is the land, the promised land, or the land of so-called Christian people. So that's always kind of, and how they would know more about it than, I don't know. It just makes me wonder. That's just it. So, it's just, if this is supposed to be this land, I have never been there, but I believe that more of the people over there are, like I said, Muslim, than there are so-called Christians. So that was just something that I just was thinking of on the side. You know. So it says, And then the fact that we're going to use the dry ground. Now, I told you guys in that other video, because we had pulled this up and it said the dry land. Oh, man. It said the dry land. Let me see if I can find it. Mm, 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 mm. Goodness, I'm not going to be able to find it probably. Oh, goodness. I settled on the fact that when we're talking about the dry land, we're definitely talking about the unruly, um, earthly peoples that did not want to mix. I did a video. It ended up being way too long yesterday, but I might go ahead and just pop it up here anyway, because there was a couple of few pointers for those who don't mind listening. But there was a point in there where we looked up something and there was the definition right there. Bam. Or I might just break it up and take little small segments out, but it was right there. And I said, this is confirmation for me that when we're talking about the dry land, we're talking about the people that did not want to mix, because that's exactly what we're in. I think the Bible Hub, when I came across it, and I said, okay, no, definitely. This is talking about, this is definitely talking about the people that were punished because they did not want to mix with the waters. Um, so let's see. Where were we? I hope I'm not getting too. Okay, yeah. So it's is significant for the Christians because John the Baptist. Okay, we read that part. Also crossed the river dry, shod. I don't know. And the Syrian general. And then whenever I told you guys, whenever we're using like general, I always think back to Genesis. And then it also is starting to make me think of the men of renown. And then look back again at this whole thing with the Nephilim, because just because we're using the term giant, there's other ways that you could spell it out. They could have spelled it out to literally mean giant, but when they spell it in this way, it can also just mean a big prominent figure. It doesn't have to mean a giant. And then I told you guys also that for some reason, I feel like when we're talking about army or military or just messengers, you know how like even with the post office, they have the fowl or a bird that represents that. And then also with like the Air Force and different things like this. So again, not just because of those reasonings, but a lot of times I do feel like when we're talking about angels, we're talking about couriers. And actually, we already went ahead and read through either etymology or through the biblical text. And I think that we did come up with the fact that it could be a courier. And I think that was in one of the videos that I've already uploaded. It just naturally happened when we were looking. It just came up. So again, I'm confirming the fact that I really do feel like um, angels represent these types of people. Okay. And then if they were in the beginning, they're in the beginning general. And then again, we have to go back to the fact that if we're talking about this caste system, if they were going to use these soldiers and military men, all of them were a part of the caste that did not have to become or get castrated. Okay. It is the other workers higher up, excuse me, maybe like the Brahmin and other people in the caste system that would have to become eunuchs in order to do the work that they were doing. Okay. And again, the generals would have been here prior to any type of governing forces as well. And they would have been someone that were there before and came back to do work again. Okay. So it says, and the Syrian general Naaman was healed of leprosy after washing in the Jordan at Elisha's directions. And again, I think that was talking about in Joshua, go back and wash in the river 7 times. And I'm thinking like, because I automatically, when we're talking about wash in the river being flooded, I'm already thinking about amalgamation and the watering or the cultivating of land, meaning the people of that land. And so I was just thinking, you know, if he washed 7 times, what are we really talking about? I know that they did keep track of um, when they were mixing races, which was a heavy part of the so-called slave trade. I was running in some information saying that the only people that were legal to um, mix at some points of time in American history were the so-called white man with the Afro-American or Aboriginal American woman. Those were the only ones that were legal for it to happen at a certain point in time. Um, so when it came to mixing, so they probably wouldn't want a white man mixing with an Irish dark melanated woman. They would make sure she was an Aborigine, and I'm thinking because same reason why people signed up to be $5 Indians to obtain some type of um, uh, to plant themselves into the tree, the family tree, so that they can get some type of they can become the heirs of said lands and other goods before the actual people that it belonged to would be able to get it. So flowing southward from its source in the mountainous areas of Israel. Again, let's just go ahead and, oh, this mouse, y'all. Okay. Let's see if we can find, well, I think these are like mountainous areas, but I don't know, could it be somewhere, let's see, just to make it easy. Okay, let's see. Mississippi River, the drainage basin empties into the Gulf of Mexico. Again, is this some form of, I don't know what kind of water they have there, if it's salt water or, well, of course, I mean, if it's the ocean, it would be some form of it. But again, I don't know if this would be some reference to a sea that would be dead or something of this sort. Um, mm. So empties into the Gulf of Mexico, part of the Atlantic Ocean. The total catchment of the Mississippi River covers 90% of the landmass of the continental United States. The highest point within the watershed is also the highest point of the Rocky Mountains. Okay, so there is a mountainous area there. Okay, so let's go back. Um, let's see. Passes through the Sea of Galilee and ends in the Dead Sea. Okay, a large part of this, okay, and Jordan in the north and the West Bank, Jordan in the south. The river falls 950 meters or whatnot from its source to the Dead Sea. Let's see, to the Dead Sea. Oh, we could be talking about these mountainous areas here. Oh, what is this? Wait a minute. Well, up here, look at this little here. Let's see. I just want that part. Where's the picture? Oh, no. Oh, okay. Look at this. Goes up and drops down into the Dead Sea. And I believe this is somewhere where the Salton Sea would be. And then isn't this the Gulf of Mexico? Maybe. And there's something here. I was thinking Gulf of Mexico here. I don't want to get too sidetracked because that's what's going to happen. Well, let's just see what it's saying. Maybe it's saying something.
How long is the Mississippi River? The answer to this question is a little more complicated than you may know, because how long a river is depends on how you measure it. Measured from its source, which is Lake Itasca in Minnesota, to the mouth of the river in Louisiana, the Mississippi is far from the fourth longest river in the world, which is what you might remember from elementary school. However,
so
most measurements of a river's length are from its true source.
Okay, yeah.
This refers to the source of the tributary that's farthest from the river's mouth.
Okay.
The true source of the Mississippi is the Jefferson River in Montana. The Jefferson runs into the Missouri River, which runs into the Mississippi. Together, these three rivers make up a river system, which is the fourth longest in the world, with a length of 3,710 miles. The Mississippi is not just a long river, it's also a big river with a lot of water. Near the Minnesota source at Lake Itasca, the Mississippi is as narrow as 20 to 30 feet across, but it's 11 miles across its widest point, Lake Winnebegoshish in Minnesota. The watershed for the Mississippi is even more impressive. A watershed is all of the area from which water both above and underground drains to a single location. The Mississippi watershed includes all of the land from which the water drains down through the delta to the mouth of the river in Louisiana and onto the Gulf of Mexico. It includes 31 U.S. states and 2 provinces in Canada, and in total covers an area of 1.2 million square miles. This represents 40% of the 48 states. The Mississippi River is important for humans and...
Okay, so it won't let me finish watching, but again, you guys see how it goes up here and then it drops down into the, I think this is the Salton Sea. Okay, let's just look it up real quick, y'all. It's not showing it connecting. Okay, so they're just gonna give me that. Okay, so yeah, that little piece right there. Let's just see if we can get a bigger. Let's put map. Okay, I kind of want like a real big map. Okay, let's see. Let's see, birds being at the Salton Sea. Okay, so yeah, somewhere up in here. Okay, so again, that was another thing that's pretty cool to kind of see. The flowing water stood still. It backed up the upstream as Adam, a city. Now let's just see one more thing while we're looking at that. Adam is a city in, Adams County in Wisconsin. Oh. I wonder if there is any more. Adams City is in Robertson Okay, so there's a lot of different ones. So yeah, we would have to go back through New York, Tennessee, but we would probably be talking to maybe about Tennessee, possibly. Um, yeah, if this is what we're, let's see. Okay, um, it is backed up as far upstream as Adam, a city in the area of Zethrin, while the water flowing towards the sea of the Arabah or the Salton Sea was completely cut off. So the people crossed over opposite of Jericho. So again, let's see. Let's see that map. I want to bring her back. It had to be somewhere here. What is this, y'all? Is this Wyoming or something? This is sad. Let me see. Mm. Oh, is this Colorado? Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm guessing this is somewhere in Colorado. So let's see if Colorado has a Adams County. Let's see. Adams County. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we getting somewhere. We getting somewhere. Um. Okay. So okay. Yeah. And then. So the water was flowing towards that was completely cut off. So yeah, this could be what we're talking about, guys. It really could be. Um. Could most definitely be what we're talking about. Let's see. And it shall come to pass as soon as the soles of the feet of the priest bear the ark, the Lord of all the earth. Yeah, see, now I think this was somewhere where I was waking up out of my sleep and I was trying to stay awake, but I couldn't. Yes, because yes, I wanted to go back to here. So thank you. Thank you. And I didn't know where because sometimes I'll wake up and snap a shot at the timeline to see where I'm at in the video so I can go back to it. But okay, this is where we were because it was saying something about the Lord, put an emphasis on it. And it said the Lord of all the earth. And again, when we're talking about the Lord and the earth, that just brings me back into closer to what we could be talking about when we're talking about the earth. And when we're talking about the earth, we are talking about earthly creatures or aborigines, more than likely darker view people, original peoples of a place, okay? So, or the first earliest people of a place. And those people were already in place prior to the creation story in Genesis, is what I'm telling you. They had to already play on the genes that were there in order to create particular people. And this is where this whole breeding and caste system and everything, it comes hand in hand. Okay. And it being the caste system being created by the God of creation, and him saying, oh yeah, mix with these, yeah, oh I like it, oh it look good, I'm happy. This is all mixing of people. It's not plants and animals like you think. We would have been very much more specific if it was. And then the heraldry and the coat of arms and the crest of these families, these prominent, so-called prominent families, are what you need to be looking at when we're talking about who is the fowl and who is the beast. And again, some of the beasts could be darker view people as well, because some foreigners, immigrants, aliens, and whatnot that came over here would be able to pass as looking like the American Aborigine. Maybe a different hair texture here and there, but again, that the waters of the Jordan shall be cut off from the waters that come down from below, and they shall stand up on a heap. And oh, okay, so this is where we were just reading that the water will fall down 950 feet. So let's see if there's any waterfalls in Colorado. Oh, what was it? 950 meters or meet. Let's see. Goodness, where were we? Let's see, kilometers. Okay. I want to say meters, but okay. 950 meters. Let's see. 950 meters, or whatnot, in feet. So 3,116 feet. That sounds like a lot. No, because that's the wrong thing. Yeah, well, I guess that's the only one we have to choose from, so it is, okay? 3,000. Oh, waterfall. Or a cliff. Let's see. Excuse me. Getting to the platform. Okay, pictured rock. Oh, wait a minute. What is this? National Park. Let's see. I'm looking at this one. Okay. California. Okay. 2,000 feet. Yosemite. Brandy Creek. 25 foot to the full, 100 feet. Let's see. 30 feet. Height 80 feet. 100 feet. 90. Ooh. 15. I don't know if we're going to find it. 640. 129. 40 foot. Ooh. Goodness. 80. 120. 30. 70. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I passed it because I'm trying to go too fast and I didn't see something in the, it might have been in the, I'll just try to look a little closer on the way back up. Over two, okay, so it could be this, Yosemite. It says over 2,000 and then it says 2,400. I don't know. I don't know why they would trick me and make me think if I'm coming in here I'm going to find something. No, I don't want that. Mm, okay. I won't hold you guys too long. Um, what is this? Mm, okay, because we could be talking about the elevation. Um, you know what? Let me just put those numbers back in. 3,000. I think that's what it was. Uh-oh. Bridal veils. I don't know. Sometimes you'll find like that it won't be like exact. You'll have to over 3,000. Okay. Over 3,000. Okay. North America's largest have a flow of nearly 100. Okay. That can be thrown over a cliff 3,000 feet high. Feet drop into the Indian village to the Colorado Channel. Okay. So could this be something? Okay. Wait, let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Okay. The Grand Canyon of Arizona affords the greatest field for electrical generators by water power. Below the new Santa Fe Hotel on the canyon brink are Indian Garden Springs, in which, in ordinary season, have a flow of nearly 100 miners um, inches that can be thrown over a cliff of 3,000 feet. In the Cataract Canyon, the stream of the flow usually approximately. Okay, so yeah, this could be what we're talking about here. Cataract Canyon. Maybe we can look more into that and see what it was used for or whatnot. Okay, so that's another thing that, you know, again, is this what we're really actually could be talking about? Let's see what else. So, okay. So in a sense, I would think that this would be talking about something literal because I found several things that lead me to believe so. So this could be talking about something literal. But again, it's still talking about the Lord of all the earth, rest in the waters, in the Jordan, the waters that cut off again. So that Indian Springs, oh, that's another thing I should look into. Is that where we're talking about that something cuts off and drops off? Is this something again still? Because it literally does that doesn't mean that something didn't happen right there so that they can try to stop the flow of, or it was just naturally like that and they stumbled across. So again, it can still be meaning both things. But again, we found some things that are literal. So the only thing that we're really worried about is bringing awareness to the fact of, are we talking about American history? Okay. What I say BC is before colonization, and AD is after the devastation or destruction. So, again, so let's see, a lodging place. Um, Commanded. Okay, Elisha sent a messenger, and you will be clean. Okay, so he went down and dipped himself in the Jordan according to the word. Okay, and restored like the flesh of a little child. And he was clean. Now that's kind of funny. So he went down and dipped himself 7 times into the Jordan according to the word of the man of God. Now, in my eyes, a man of God is just someone that is higher up in the caste system. And his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. Or we talking about the fountain of youth? I don't know. Okay, it's good to have a little bit of fun, but I'm just saying, is this what we're talking about? Are we talking about some purifying springs or something that people go to nowadays, where the temperature always stays a certain temperature and people come and dip themselves in there, or whatever, Okay, so let's see. All right. So I think that's probably about it. I don't want to hold you guys too long. I just was telling you that I was on the track of seeing something. I'll just bring up a couple of little things that were also. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Here's another thing too that could be a drop. Um, Goodness. So I done got rid of all the maps. Okay, Mississippi River. Oh yeah, so this is another way where it still comes across some mountains and then drops down. Um, just playing around with some stuff. That's all we're doing. I'll probably come back and read this a little bit later or share this with you guys. I read from here, although there was something I thought in another place that I wanted to read. Let me see. Nope. I know there was something, but it was speaking on the fact of okay, wait a minute. Across the near Jericho, the ground at that place became dry, and the priest carried the box of the agreement of the Lord. Now, there's no Christ, there's no Lord God, there's no any of this. It just says of the Lord, to the middle of the river and stopped. They waited until the Israelites walked. Now, we're talking about Israelites. Okay. Whenever you want to think of light, that's something that has, it might be Israel, but it's either has it's carrying the light, meaning a light bearer or someone who's going to illuminate or give light to someone, or we're talking about Israel's lighter version that will later on be the chosen, that will bring in the new age with a different sub race or offspring of the original or the archetype. Okay, so all the Israelites walked across the Jordan River on dry land. So again, I guess they went across the river on dry land. I don't know if this is talking about something that's in the middle of the river that's a dry land, or are we talking about they were able to walk across these hostile because when I was reading more depth yesterday, and it was talking about the hostile dry land that wouldn't comply basically. And hopefully I can find it and maybe add it to this or whatever, point it out to you guys in another video and put the marker there. But anyhow, yeah, yeah. Just how we were just talking about uh, the Indian Springs. What was down there? Was that a hidden place where people were able to be left alone, and then now they've come upon these people, and then they're telling them how they can cross over into the whatever temple of God or whatever? Who knows? So again, thank you guys for watching. I'm sure there's something else that I wanted to say that I forgot to say, but we have to keep on moving. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Again, if you're enjoying the content, go ahead and hit the thumbs up, or subscribe if you like. And then also, if you're itching to say something, go ahead and drop a message. I'm always looking for someone to give me some input, or just let me know that they're following me, and that they may get something that I'm saying. But because I'm beyond the point of caring if someone thinks that I'm insane or crazy. I think I got some bad comments, yesterday or whatever. I just seen them. Someone talking about I'm blaspheming God or whatever. But again, I've already built myself up for this. And, I left some of his comments, but I deleted the other one because I felt like it was just resting on I don't like that. I don't like the energy that it was bringing, talking about this is a warning and all this other stuff from God. I don't deal with that kind of stuff. So I deleted that one, but I let him say whatever else he had to say. So again, but I mean, hey, I enjoy seeing that some people are taking it the wrong way too. So it's fine. It's all good. Just let me know how you feel. And then I think that's it. Until next time, take care.